When working in AutoCAD with externally referenced files, the working file will inherit all of the layers of the DWG files you've referenced into the drawing. It is the layers that come into the working file through the externally referenced files that can present issues, which is what we'll discuss in this video. You will need to deploy the Reference Manager on a Mac or the XREF Manager on a PC to obtain relevant information. From the Reference Manager, you can see that the current working DWG file is named Murano_Gatekeepers Construction Set. The Reference Manager also indicates that there is only one externally referenced file in the working drawing. The file that is referenced into the working file is named Murano_Base Gatekeepers Lodge. The information shown here in the Reference Manager helps us to understand which layers are part of the working drawing and which layers are part of any externally referenced files. AutoCAD separates the layers of the current working file from the layers that were brought in with the reference DWG file. If we look to the layer panel, we can easily find the layers associated with the externally referenced file because the file name is included before the layer name. Of further interest in the layer panel is the list of unreconciled layers. Expand the folder to see the unreconciled layers in this category. We need to be alert to unreconciled layers simply because this could prevent us from viewing and properly printing layers from the externally referenced file. How do you know if you have unreconciled layers? When you try to plot or print a sheet from Paperspace, a layer notification warning will appear. Why do unreconciled layers occur? Unreconciled layers are those that have been added to the drawing or to the attached reference files since the layer list was last evaluated in the working drawing. This warning appears when you open the working file that contains the external reference with the new layers. I've also noticed that sometimes unused or orphan layers in the externally referenced files will sometimes bring up this alert as well. This type of alert will indicate to you that you might experience a problem when trying to plot or print a sheet from Paperspace. How do you fix the problem? To reconcile a layer in the drawing, all you have to do is manually select it from the layer list and mark it as reconciled. To do this, locate the category in the layer panel entitled Unreconciled New Layers. Highlight the first layer in the list. Hold down the Shift key on the keyboard. Scroll down to the last unreconciled layer in the list, and while still holding down the Shift key, pick on it. Right mouse click over the highlighted list of unreconciled layers. Choose Reconcile Layers from the menu list of options. You should now be able to plot and print from Paperspace. There are more tips that might be useful in which I found from the Autodesk forum. First, if there are XREFs, open each drawing that is attached to the main working file and reconcile the layers within it. Second, if attachments have attachments, check them also. And finally, all involved files need to have their layers reconciled to stop them from propagating to other files. However, if you still experience issues with the externally referenced files not showing up in the plot preview, then you may have missed one simple step in the X-referencing process, which is that when you attach a file as either an attachment or as an overlay, make sure that layer 0 is the current layer. Layer 0 is the universal layer for inserting files and externally referenced drawings. The worst layer to have current is def points. By definition, def points is a non-plotting layer, and anything that is inserted onto that layer will not plot or print. If you think you have inserted an external reference onto a non-plotting layer instead of layer 0, simply grip the external reference file from Model Space. Then organize the external reference file onto layer 0. It is as easy as changing any other object in AutoCAD to a different layer. Next, try plotting again to see if this fixed the problem. Remember, avoid visibility and plotting issues by reconciling the layers of external reference files when you see this warning. Always organize the external reference files onto the universal layer, which is layer 0.